Greetings, everyone. So Ben Shapiro recently went onto this channel called Jubilee, where he was debating various Kamala Harris voters. What they do on Jubilee is they bring in somebody who's quite well known, who has certain views, and then they bring in other people to sort of sit in a circle around that person who all disagree with this person's views. And then throughout the recording, different statements are read out by this person that, of course, the people sitting around them disagree with. And they then get a chance to rush to the chair and sit down and have a debate. Now, it's a bit of an odd system because, first of all, it has this musical chairs vibe to it that I remember was one of the more aggressive games that we were taught to play as kids. I don't know if you ever played this, but it was basically the idea that you had a bunch of chairs and there was always one less chair than there were children, and the children had to sort of walk around the chairs, and then when the music stopped they had to rush to the chairs and take a seat. And obviously one child would always not have a seat and would be out, basically. And it could get quite aggressive with people like pushing each other and almost getting into fights just to be able to sit in a chair. It was a very survival of the fittest kind of game. And this is almost the theme they've got here, that you've got to rush to the chair ahead of the next person so you can sit down and debate with Ben. And the other strange thing about this dynamic is that while whoever has made it to the chair is debating Ben Shapiro in this case, the people all around have red flags, and they can raise their red flag when they feel that the person debating him isn't doing well enough, that their arguments are weak or boring or whatever it is that makes them not want to listen to them anymore. They raise their red flag, and then when more than half the people who are sitting around this discussion decide to raise their red flag, that person then has to leave the chair, and then the next person comes in, whoever makes it to the chair first. So that is how it works. And in this particular instance, the statement by Ben Shapiro that people were going to go and disagree with him on was that Kamala Harris's extreme pro-abortion stance is morally indefensible. That I think we could probably agree on as Catholics, as Christians. That was his belief, and people could then sit next to him and debate that with him. Now, the reason I want to play you this clip is because the person who sat down to debate Ben Shapiro in this instance didn't talk about abortion at all. This was the topic that was up for discussion at this particular point of the video, and I'm going to call them they, just for the sake of not being demonetized again so soon after I've already been demonetized, but it's basically a person who now believes they are a man. They actually flipped the seat round, that I suppose shows you mean business, and well, take a look at how it went.
Hey, Ben.
Like a bro, my friend. All right.
How's it going?
Let's break open
first
beer or
question,
something.
can men get pregnant?
Men cannot get pregnant.
Simple question, can men get pregnant? Obviously the answer is no, and then they show a reaction from someone who's sitting around in a circle like, oh, that's controversial to say that. Is it really? Okay.
So,
Definitionally.
definitionally, okay. Do men experience SA? Sexual assault?
Sure.
Got it. What about the existence of trans men?
So already this is veering off into a direction that's got nothing to do with abortion. The first question asked, you could say maybe that was going to somehow tie into abortion. Can men get pregnant? But now it's veering off into other questions that aren't related, or at least don't seem like they're going to be related.
What about the existence? Do you mean women who believe that they are men? What are we talking about here? Women experiencing gender dysphoria?
So already he's annoying the person sitting in the chair opposite, because this person is someone who considers themselves to be a trans man. Ben Shapiro would of course call this a woman with gender dysphoria, and already you can see them getting frustrated with his response. And this is all building slowly to what's about to be a major rant.
So my other question is, do you benefit from white supremacy in any way, shape, or form?
Again, that question, you just think, what the heck has this got to do with abortion? White supremacy. But do you know what? There probably are people who believe that somehow abortion being restricted is linked to white supremacy in some way.
I'm going to need more specifics on what you mean by white
Well, here,
supremacy.
let me give it to you then.
Sure, please.
So I'm a transgender man.
Okay.
They have now stated that they are a transgender man. Flip the chair back round, so Perhaps they mean less business. Who knows? But actually, no, you'll see that they still mean business.
I've experienced SA.
Okay.
And abortion rights affect me directly.
Okay, so still somehow in some very thin weave here, this person has managed to tie in at least one of the questions, or two of them, that were asked to do with abortion rights. But as you'll see, that was done just to sort of pretend that this is still on topic, because then in the next few seconds, it's going to completely go off on this thing that's got nothing to do with abortion anymore.
So if we're talking about the American dream that you live, why don't I have access to that? Because there's no legislation, in the history of America, that legislates a man's body. So why does mine have to be legislated? I've got a vagina.
I'm obviously a man. I've got a vagina.
I'm not interested in what your genitalia are.
Clearly you are. I mean, it's all over everything you make, buddy. I'm sorry. I hate to say it to you, but
I think you can read on my face that I radically am not. I think you can read on my face that I radically am not. When we're talking about abortion...
No, I don't. I mean, you can present it here, but in most of the content that you have, you attack my community constantly. And you don't even realize guys like me exist, who actually share a lot of similarities to you and everything, because I'm a married man of 20 years.
I
recognize
wife. That you exist.
This is interesting, actually, to me, that this person has been married for 20 years and has a wife. So I'm going to assume, just looking at them, they don't seem that old, that they must have gotten married when they were still officially considering themselves to be a woman, got married to a woman. So therefore it was a lesbian marriage. And then at some point during that, they transitioned into being a man officially on the paperwork or whatever. And now it's a husband and wife thing.
I disagree with your claim
so
that you're
if
a
I
male.
was sexually assaulted, right, and I didn't have access to that abortion care, do you believe that I should have carried that child to term because I was sexually assaulted?
I mean,
No, I just want to make sure that that's what you believe. Because as a transgender man, I have seen your side of the entire political debate, never ever having the conversation of what an American freedom is. Because why am I not allowed to live my American freedom as a man? You know, I mean, you get your choice as a man to live and free and all that.
You're really moving around terminology very wildly here.
And so are you, because that's the tactics you play in your game. And you've done it the entire time.
Oh, that woman doing the hand gestures is so annoying. She's like, oh yeah, you got it, man. Even though it's not a man, but... you know when someone's saying something so wrong and then you've got other people going, yeah, and you're like, no, not yeah, it's complete nonsense. Why are you supporting this? That's pretty much what the world is now, isn't it? People do stupid things, say stupid things, and then other people cheer it on and go, woo!
Jump from one subject to the next. You speak so fast, and I know how you work, so how does it feel to have it in your face?
Oh, well.
Ben speaks so fast. Yeah, he does speak fast. So he's quite an intelligent guy. He talks fast. And now this person thinks that they're doing it back at Ben. And like, how does it feel to have this done to you? Well, it's not really being done to him. What is going to happen from around about this point now is just going to get a full-on rant from this person who clearly hates Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro once or twice is going to try and get a word in, but it's not going to work out. And then he's going to realize at some point, just let this person finish their rant and move on to the next one.
Because I'm sick and tired of the shit that you have put against my community, especially black trans women.
It's so infuriating to see idiots cheering on idiots.
Because you constantly disregard all of our needs and then use us politically as a pawn when we're 1% of the population. Why not focus on the economy itself? All of us are struggling, and you want to focus on trans people. You want to focus on a black woman.
He's focusing on a black woman or a half black woman because she's running for president. So of course at some point you're going to focus on her, and I don't think the fact that she's half black is being focused on, although I know it's being focused on that she seems to reinvent herself as this, that and the other thing. So stupid point, and again nothing to do with abortion.
When this is clearly a glass cliff situation, America's falling apart, and let's give it a woman right when it's all falling apart, when we'd had, 50 men run it and it looks like shit?
I feel that when people curse when they're supposed to be debating, it shows that they're losing the argument. And there isn't really much substance to what they're saying anymore. They just want to let rip and just go at you, and that's what's happening here.
Look at where we're at. Truly, where do you think that we're heading? I mean, it's so funny to watch white supremacy just fall apart the way that it is.
So there you go. There's Ben Shapiro's first attempt to interject himself. He tried to say you've been going for a while now. He would like to respond, but no, Ain't gonna happen.
And you ride so hard because guess what? In other countries around the world, women are not having children. And why is it? Because of the patriarchy and all the violence that men perpetuate.
Yes, that is the reason women are not having children. Because of the patriarchy and the violence that men perpetuate. What a load of nonsense. The reason women are not having children is because they've been brainwashed by this sick culture of ours into thinking that it's not a normal thing to have children. You shouldn't have children. You don't have to have children. Don't have a family. That's all something that was taught a long time ago. It's archaic. Don't do that anymore. You just be by yourself. You do what you want to do. You live your own life. You be a career woman. That's why they're not having children, because they've been taught that it isn't normal to have children and have a family.
And all of this idea that abortion is somehow going to solve it all by forcing women to have abortion instead of focusing on the real problems that we're facing in our society, we're just going to completely ignore that. And we're just going to go, you know what? The line item is, let's make women have babies so that we can continue this capitalistic society that we have.
Yeah, that's why we want women to have babies, to continue capitalism.
Why are we doing that? What? I mean, why? Because you want to push white supremacy and because you want to make your check?
Just so you're following, women should have more children to continue capitalism and push white supremacy. This is where we're at. Good grief. It's not surprising Ben Shapiro is starting to smile. Like, it's difficult not to laugh at this.
It does great for you. Meanwhile, people like me have to live with the consequences of all of your rhetoric that you put on a daily basis, and including my entire community.
There you go. There was a second attempt from Ben Shapiro to lean forward and say something into the mic, but then he quickly realized, nope, that's not going to happen.
And the intersectionalities of Black women, men that experience SA, trans people, everyone that comes in. And I'm so sick of the idea that you can come in with this bravado, that you're this big guy that knows things because you can talk fast, you have statistics.
Second time he's mentioned he can talk fast. Yeah, he talks fast. I mean, that's just how he talks. He always talks like that. He's not doing that to try and seem cleverer. And if he has statistics, perhaps you should listen to them, because those are facts.
But really, what does it really matter at the end of the day if you are harming the entire American... This guy's been accused of rape. Trump. In like court documents, and you're backing the guy. Like, you have children. How could you do that to your own... Don't you have a daughter? Like, what is wrong with you, dude?
Okay, so this is just, again, completely off point now.
I've never seen such a party just completely like the American idea, what we believe in as a country, is not what you're perpetuating. It's diversity. It's giving you tired, hungry, and poor.
Credit to Ben Shapiro, by the way, for just at some point realizing there's no point having a discussion here, because it's nothing's going to come of it. And he's just having to listen to... It's not easy to listen to a bunch of rubbish and not say anything and just wait for it to be over and then move on. But this is what Ben Shapiro's doing here.
The
Okay,
Google
pause.
phone you have in your pocket
Pause.
is because of all of the diversity we've had.
Pause.
Pleasure to meet you.
Okay, there's a lot of tension in the room now. Let's stay cordial.
So they go at the end, he offers his hand and then says something vulgar to Ben Shapiro and then walks off. What a performance, you know, what a performance that some of the people in the audience there, or the people participating in the circle, cheered on, laughed at. You know, this is what you're dealing with. Well done to Ben Shapiro, who sat through that and then just calmly waited for the next person to sit down to continue the discussion, because that was such a load of rubbish in one go. And when you think about it, like, he's such a smart person. Somebody like me who's not that smart, even when I'm listening to utter nonsense, it's difficult for me, knowing how much nonsense is being said, to try and sit through it. Someone like this, though, who's really intelligent, you know, having to sit through such rubbish. I mean, I suppose it's part of free speech, right? But kudos to him for managing that. What did you think about that clip, folks? Let me know in the comments. I do read them. I don't get that many comments, so believe me, I do read the comments. Thank you for watching the video. Have a blessed day.